What's up? How's it going? Man, I am sweating my ass off. Let me get some of the sweat off my glasses so I can see. A couple of drops hit the glasses. Um, I just finished packing up the truck. I think I have just about everything in the truck. All I have left to put in the truck is my clean clothes that go in my shower bag. They can fit in my shower bag because I was only out on the road for like a week. I only showered like once or twice, I can't remember, over the course of that week. So I only have like one or two changes of clothes I needed to wash. So I brought them in my shower bag. I can take them back out in my shower bag. So I think all I've got left to put in the truck is a shower bag. Bebsy. Oh, I bet that is so loud. I forgot about that. Um, Pepsi. My sponsorship. um, it's a condenser mic, a Samson Meteor, and this thing is meant for like a studio with padding on the walls and shit. You can hear mice fart and stuff with this mic, so you're probably picking up a lot of noise right now. I apologize, but I'm not going to turn off the air conditioner because I am sweating my ass off, as you can see. So what's going on? What am I doing? I'm about to leave the house. Um, let's set this back at $2,000 minimum. This is the load that I grabbed. Let me swap a few things around here, and we'll switch this over to display one. And those are the details of the load. I take screenshots and put them into OneNote on the load, so I'll have information on the load. But it's from Jinx, Oklahoma to Madison, Alabama. It's basically Tulsa, Oklahoma to Huntsville, Alabama, northern Alabama. It's a drop and hook on both ends. The trailer should be ready for me to pick up tomorrow night. It's Sunday at almost 6 p.m. right now. And the trailer's not supposed to be ready until at the earliest 5:42 p.m. tomorrow. And I'm most likely not going to show up at 5:42 trying to pick the trailer up because Kimberly Clark is notoriously late unloading trailers. I'm probably going to show up at 7 or 8 p.m. at the earliest. And yeah, that's probably what time I'll show up, is about 7 or 8 p.m. Because I do want to start driving pretty damn early in the evening. Like 7 or 8 p.m. is when I want to start my driving. Otherwise, I might hit Memphis, Tennessee in rush hour. But it's only 600 miles. It's a pretty damn easy drive. It's I-40 most of the way. It's a good load. It's paying $3,100 for 600 miles. It's only 10,000 pounds. It's paper product like paper towels, toilet paper, stuff like that. Napkins. So let's flip this back over to the browser. Actually, no. Let's, oh man, I moved OBS over to my primary screen. This is like Inception or something. Let's actually look at the spreadsheet. And I'll show you the load here on the spreadsheet. So this is the load up here on column or row 2. Jinx to Madison, $3,100, 118 fuel surcharge. So 65% of that $3,100 comes out to $2,042.69. That's what I make on the line haul. I get all of the fuel surcharge, which is $118.86. That comes out to about 20 cents per mile on the fuel surcharge. So the fuel surcharge and what I make on the line haul comes out to $2,161.55. So I'm making almost $2,200 on that load. And my rate per mile is $3.61 per mile. The line haul rate, the rate that USA Truck looks at, is they take the full rate and divide it by the miles. They don't do anything with the fuel surcharge. And this thing pays about $5.26 a mile is what it's paying. But I make $3.61 per mile based on the total amount of money I get on the load. This other load down here is a load that's sitting on the load board right now. I could grab. That would basically, I could go deliver this load, and then go pick up this other one that's going to Dallas, and then come back to my house, and be out on the road for about 3 days. And 3.5 days, and be back home in 3 days, and the two loads together would be $3,600 after expenses and fuel and everything. I would make about $3,000, so it wouldn't be a phenomenal week, but it would be a solid week. But this other load has a big deadhead on it, and I'm only making $1.67 a mile on it. I'm only making $700 a day on the load, so it's not that good of a load. I'm not really too terribly thrilled with it. So I'm gonna hope that a better load gets posted by the time I make it there. Let's go back to the browser. This is this load up here at the top, this Hefford, Texas. This is Amarillo to Dallas, 400-mile load, paying $3,800. They canceled this load off of me. It picked up on November 17th. This is like the third time they posted this load. Every time they posted it, I've requested it. I've gotten the load assigned to me, and then they've canceled it off of me. I don't know why they keep posting it if all they're going to do is keep canceling it. I'm guessing that they keep finding other people that'll haul it for cheaper. And that little, that really pisses me off. If you make an agreement to let somebody haul a load for you, it really pisses me off that brokers will cancel the load because they found somebody else that would haul it, cheaper. That really just kind of ticks me off. And I suspect that's what's happening. They keep saying that the customer is canceling the load. So maybe it's the customer that's finding another broker that's able to, move it cheaper. So maybe it's not the, USA Truck that's doing it to me. Maybe it is the customer that's doing it. At least that's what USA Truck's telling me, is that it's the customer that keeps doing this crap. So this is the Sanger, Texas load that I had on the spreadsheet. It's still sitting there. I could grab it right now if I wanted. I don't really want to. A couple of comments before I start talking about something else. Oh, this load. Okay, so this list. Oh, I've only got it at 100 miles. Let's bump it up to 250 miles. I was like, man, that list got really short. Okay, so it has gotten even shorter. There were 3 of the Madison, Alabama loads that I have. I took one of them, and there's still 2 of them sitting here. If you're watching this video and you're anywhere near Tulsa, Oklahoma, there's a damn good load going to northern Alabama. Northern Alabama is a good market. Atlanta, Georgia's next to it. Memphis, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee. Kentucky's not too terribly far away. Birmingham, Montgomery. I mean, you are like in the middle of a lot of really good freight markets in Madison, Alabama. So this is an amazing load. If you're anywhere near Tulsa, I highly recommend that you snag up one of these other 2 loads here. They're both light loads. I got the lightest one of the bunch, but one of them's 10,000, one's 11,000, one's 12,000. They're all really light. And they're all the exact same pickup and delivery. So snag it up. Now the comment I wanted to make is that I've never seen this many loads over $2,000 in this market. There were 2 to 3 times more loads than this Friday afternoon. And I've never seen that many loads. Usually, whenever I search for loads over $2,000 within a 250-mile radius around Oklahoma City, I don't know, there's maybe anywhere between 1 and maybe 10 loads. There's usually not a lot of loads that pull up. On a really busy day, I might see this many loads right here that's on the load board. But that's it. There were 2 to 3 times more loads than what's showing up right now on Friday. And, over the weekend, we're almost to the end of the weekend, and they're about to start putting new loads up Monday morning. People have slowly been picking through them. But to see loads this good sitting on the load board Sunday night, this is unheard of. This is crazy. You don't see loads this good just sitting on the load board. This is telling me that there is like a huge imbalance in freight versus drivers right now. There's an incredible imbalance happening. There's just way too many loads. So we might start seeing freight rates skyrocketing here pretty soon as they're fighting over getting loads moved. Because, you know, if it's a driver's market, then I'm just going to take the highest paying thing. And normally they can just put loads up at whatever the hell price they want, and it's eventually going to move. It may not move as fast as they want it to move, but somebody will eventually move the load. But if there get to be too many loads, then they may not be able to move it at all if they don't increase their rates. They're going to have to get competitive with the other loads that are out there. Otherwise, they may not be able to move any freight at all. So we'll see. It looks like we're finally starting to hit that holiday shopping season, and they're starting to move some freight. So expect rates to go through the roof here pretty soon. I'm hoping that it really picks up this week while I'm out, and I'm going to be in an amazing freight market to grab hopefully a really good load, and turn this into an awesome week. But yeah, I wanted to make a comment on, like, this is something I've never seen before. The number of good paying loads sitting on the load board all weekend. I've never seen anything like this happen on USA Truck's load board. Usually by this time, all of the decent loads have been picked through, and there's just crap sitting here. This is crazy to have this many. Like, these two loads are the exact same load that I have, and the load that I have is almost a unicorn load. Just if it were like a $4,000 load, it would be a unicorn load. It's just the total amount that it's paying isn't enough to make it a unicorn load. It's a really good load, but not quite unicorn. To see a really good load, a near unicorn load, set on the load board all weekend, these things are normally on the load board for less than an hour. For them to be sitting all weekend is just crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't understand it. But, I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening this upcoming week. I started the truck up. It's it's charging the batteries. I got the air conditioner running, cooling it off. I had the refrigerator turned off, and I had my cooler unplugged, and I had my inverter turned off and everything. So I turned everything on. I did that. Normally I would leave all that running, but my APU is not charging the battery. Something's not wired correctly, and it's been like that since they installed the engine. So I think that the people at Big Rig Product that installed the engine just didn't wire something back up correctly. So I'm going to take it to W&B in Tulsa and have somebody that knows what in the hell they're doing find out what they screwed up on and fix it. Hopefully it's going to be like a 5-minute fix. The last time Big Rig Product screwed up on something, I took it up to the W&B in Tulsa, and within 5 minutes they were like, yeah, there's just a bolt missing here, and that's causing all your problems. It was a 5-minute fix. Now the other problem that Big Rig Product caused by ripping my fuel line, that took them like 2 hours to replace the fuel line, because they said whoever the idiot was that installed the fuel line ran it through the engine, and they had to like disconnect parts of the engine and pull them down to relieve pressure on the fuel line to be able to remove the fuel line. And they're like, it was just whoever installed the engine and ran the fuel line did it real weird, and normally would have taken like 10 or 15 minutes to rerun a fuel line, but it took us 2 hours because we had to dismantle the damn engine to get it out. Well, that Big Rig Product is the one that installed that fuel line. So, like, every time I end up taking this to a dealer to get it worked on, they make comments about the whoever it was that did this did it like didn't know what in the hell they were doing, and it's all stuff that Big Rig Product did. So I don't trust Big Rig Product to work on my APU anymore. I don't plan on ever taking my APU back there. Their labor rates are good. They're really nice people. I like that they let me help and let me watch. But it ends up costing me a lot of extra time and money because I have to put it into the shop to get whatever it was I was paying them to fix fixed, and they tend to cause additional issues. Like they ripped the fuel line and stuff like that whenever they're working on it, and they blew my head gasket in my last engine. I had to replace the whole damn engine because of them. Like, they've caused a huge amount of problems on the APU. I don't really trust them to touch the APU anymore. I'll probably let them do preventative maintenance, and that's about it. I don't even know if I'm going to let them do that, in all honesty. I'll probably just do my PMs at TA. Just let TA do all of the stuff, because when I watch Big Rig Product doing stuff, they're really half-assing everything that they do. And I just don't really trust them. I think I might just start having my PMs and everything done at TA. I might just stop having all work done at Big Rig Product. I don't really trust them. You know, if you can't trust them to work on an APU, should you really trust them to work on your truck? Like, that's like, you know, you can't trust somebody to change the oil on your lawnmower. Why would you trust them to change the oil on your car? But anyway, what I plan on doing, since I want to get the APU worked on in Tulsa, is I'm going to leave my house, drive down to the TA, fill up with fuel, then go over to Big Rig Product, pick up my trailer, then leave Big Rig Product and go to Tulsa, and I'm going to park at W&B and stay there for the night. And actually, let me see. I'm pretty sure they don't have a gate. They're W&Bs everywhere. There's one in Oklahoma City. All right, so right there it is. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Yeah, it's not gated. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. That looks like it might possibly be a gate right there. It's really hard to tell if there's gates from this point of view. Street view? Yeah, that's a mailbox. So, right over here is where you drop your trailer and you park and stuff while you're waiting to get into a bay. So they have like 7 or 8 spots right there. It's not gated. So I can roll up in there this afternoon and park there and wait for them to open in the morning. And how in the hell do I get back to... There we go. I can wait for them to open up in the morning and then get everything worked on. What is... Okay, I was wondering why everything was highlighted in blue. So W&B is right there. Let's turn that crap off. And Kimberly Clark is like right over in here. So Kimberly Clark, I want to say, is about right where my mouse cursor is at. So it's not too terribly far. I just have to drive down, hop on 44, going back the other way, and probably take 64 down. And then, you know, I might chance driving down 64 instead of going all the way over to Highway 75. this Highway 64 right here is like a major road, and there are tons of stoplights, and it's really heavy traffic. It's kind of a pain in the ass. I don't like going this particular route, but you know, oh man, it's 7, 8 p.m. at night. Everybody's gonna be going to restaurants and stuff up and down this street. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. But I'll probably take that route to get over there. But that's what I'm planning on doing tonight, is just going up to W&B. Then I'll get everything worked on during the day tomorrow, and then pick up that load in the night, tomorrow night, Monday night, and then drive from, so it's going to be Oklahoma City to Tulsa, then Tulsa down to I-40, hit I-40 in Weber's Falls, and then I-40 all the way to Memphis. And then out of Memphis, I'm going to take some highway across here to Huntsville, Alabama. Highway 72, I'll take that all the way to Huntsville, Alabama. So a nice little chunk of highway driving, but not too bad. And then once I'm in Huntsville, I mean, just look like Montgomery, Birmingham, Atlanta, Chattanooga, Knoxville, Nashville, Memphis. I mean, you have so many good markets, and even like Kentucky, Southern Kentucky is even within range of, you know, a decent deadhead. You know, it's not like for the right price, I'll be willing to deadhead up to Kentucky to pick up a load. So I mean, that's like you're right in the middle of a lot of really good markets. So it's a good place to be. Huntsville itself, I'm hoping that I can get a load straight out of Huntsville. That would be absolutely amazing. We'll see. Murfreesboro, I remember seeing Murfreesboro on the load board with some good loads. I think it was a destination, though, not a pickup point. But yeah, the loads, and it was bad all week, but Friday, toward the end of the day, Friday, all of a sudden it just exploded. At least in the Oklahoma market, or the Oklahoma, Dallas, Tulsa market. I have all three of those cities listed on my search. So freight looks like it's starting to get really good. Update on Percy, nothing's changed. My buddy Percy, we went to CDL school the first time I got my CDL back in like 2003, 2004. He retired from trucking right around the time that I decided to get back into trucking. And he's planning on coming out of retirement. And he wants to become an owner-operator like I did. He was a company driver his entire career, and he mainly drove for mega carriers like Knight, JB Hunt, Swift, Conway. I don't know all the different companies he drove for, but he drove for a bunch of megas. And he made really crap money his entire career. I'm not going to say like the most money he ever made or anything like that. I don't want to like drop too much of his business out there. But he never made really good money, and he never thought about becoming an owner-operator, much for the same reason I never thought about becoming an owner-operator the first time I was in the industry, because there was so much misinformation and so much ignorance and so many, like, just so many dumbasses. You would just mention becoming an owner-operator or leasing or lease purchasing or anything like that, and people would just, like, they would lose their, like, people would start yelling and screaming and be like, that is the stupidest thing you could, like, you are a fucking idiot. Like, they would get really, like, I'm not exaggerating, they would get like that. I'd be like, what kind of fucking moron are you? Like, they would start yelling and screaming and cursing at you and stuff. I'd be like, whoa, buddy. So it's something that was just, it was like something you didn't talk about in public, because people were so emotional about it. And like, they were just like, it was something you didn't even consider. Just if you ever even thought about becoming an owner-operator, you were deemed the village idiot or something. And because of that, it's not something I ever seriously looked into. I looked into it a little bit. I just looked at what Swift's lease program was, and it was absolute garbage. There was no way to make money on that. Back then, they only paid like 60 cents a mile. It was a flat rate and it paid like 60 cents a mile. The prices of trucks and the prices of fuel haven't changed that much in the last 15, 20 years. I think fuel was actually more expensive back then. It was approaching like $3 or $4 or $5 a gallon in the early 2000s. There were a bunch of companies that got run out of business because of how high fuel prices got. So imagine running on basically, the same cost that you have today, but you're only making 60 cents a mile as an owner operator. Like that's crazy. So I looked into that and I didn't look any further. And Percy pretty much he had the same upbringing that I did in trucking. So he never really seriously considered being an owner operator because of how negative everyone was about it. But I've been telling him my experience, and now he wants to get back into trucking, and he wants to get on with Landstar just like I do. So he's working on it, but he hasn't really made a lot of progress. He's got some stuff he needs to wrap up, some things he needs to get taken care of so that he can get back in the industry. And he's been out of the industry for so long that he might have to go through, training again. He didn't surrender his license like I did. So he's not going to have to go through CDL school and all that crap and take his CDL test again like I did. But he may have to go through some kind of training because he hasn't driven a truck in like 2 or 3 years. But yeah, he hasn't. He's still waiting on stuff. And he's thinking he's going to start back with Knight Refrigerated. He's worked for them before, and he said he made pretty decent money with them, and he liked them. And they have a terminal 5 miles from his house. So that's who he's leaning toward right now. But he just has to get recent driving experience and then, build up some money, and then he can become an owner operator and start making the big bucks. But what else I want to say before I start talking about Landstar? I can't really think of anything else. I'm really hoping that after I get my APU worked on tomorrow, that everything's going to be in tip-top shape. It's going to be perfect, and I'm not going to have to worry about anything. And we'll be like really, really, really good. Everything will be working perfect on the truck after that point. But if I remember something else I want to talk about, I'll just mention it. But let's just switch gears over to Landstar. I'm really excited about getting on with Landstar. And I just realized it's only 3 months away from my 1 year of recent experience. That's the only thing holding me back from applying at Landstar is the 1 year of recent verifiable experience. I've already got my hazmat, my TWIC, passport, all that stuff. I've got all those things. And so like the first week of February is when I hit my year that I'll be able to apply at Landstar. Now the process to get hired on and actually haul a load for them could be a couple of months from then. So it's not like, February, the first day of February, I'm going to quit USA Truck and apply at Landstar. I'll apply at Landstar at the beginning of February, and it usually takes about a month for them to tell you whether or not they're going to hire you. And then once they tell you that they're going to hire you, it can take a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks for them to get you into an orientation class. And then once you go through orientation, it can take 2-3 weeks, a month or more for you to get a trailer so you can start hauling loads. So I need to stack up about $8,000 to cover that transition process. I need to have enough money to pay 2 months of my bills. My bills are about $3,000 a month. And I may be without, income for approximately 2 months, depending on how close to the edge I push it driving with USA Truck. If Landstar tells me that I'm qualified and I'm hired on, and they're just waiting for an orientation opening, I may continue driving for USA Truck until they give me, until a couple of days before orientation, or as soon as I get the go ahead that I'm definitely hired with Landstar. They're just waiting for an orientation date, and it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks out. I may quit USA Truck right then and just take some time off. I don't know. I'll just have to play it by ear whenever it happens. So 2 months of bills is what I want to have saved up, and then at least minimum $2,000 to cover. I have to pay USA Truck to remove the uninstall the ELD. I think they charge like $150 to uninstall the ELD. I'm not sure if there are any other things I have to pay for whenever I leave. And then when I get on with Landstar, I have to buy the ELD up front, which is between $600 and $800 from what I've heard. And then I have to pay somebody like $150 to install it. And then they just give you stickers and shit that you can either put on yourself or pay somebody to put on. I would rather pay somebody to put on stickers. And what else? I can't think of anything else. But I want to have at least $2,000 for any expenses that I might have to pay during the transition process, and then $6,000 for 2 months of bills. So $8,000. I want to have $8,000 saved up for the transition, on top of what I already have saved up for breakdowns and maintenance and taxes and everything else. So I need to get out there and make some damn money. Stop sitting on my ass. The thing is that I make enough money in a week that I could sit at home for a month. Like, I make about $3,700 a week. I make about $4,700 gross to the truck per week, and after my expenses, I get $3,700 to me each week, and I can live on $3,000 a month. So I can go out a week and then sit at home for a month if I wanted to, but I would just be breaking even if I did that. I wouldn't be setting any money aside. So I need to get out there and do at least 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off to actually make some money. If I do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, then I should be able to set aside about $3,000 a month, at least $3,000 a month. If I go to 3 weeks on, 1 week off, then I should be able to set aside $6,000 to $7,000 a month. So we'll see. And I've got 3 months. So I'm going to try to stack up some money between now and then. Really looking forward to getting on a Landstar. I'm envious of their load board. Now, if USA Truck's load board was like this all the time, then I probably wouldn't be, so excited to get on with Landstar. But this is abnormal. Landstar's load board has so many more loads than USA Truck's load board. And so many more good loads, and they have all these dedicated accounts and stuff that you can do. They have like tons and tons of stuff on their load board. So USA Truck, I still think, is a really solid company. It's one of the best places that you can work at before you get on with somebody like Landstar. We'll see what my opinion is once I actually start working for Landstar on how big the gap is between USA Truck and Landstar. Maybe I'll get on with Landstar and be like, man, the grass isn't so green over here. The loads don't pay as well as I thought they would. Or, I don't know what's going to be like. But based on what research I've done, it's going to be amazing at Landstar. Like, I'm busting my ass to make about $4,700 a week gross to the truck. That's approximately what I'm averaging. I've made more than that in a week. I've made less than that in a week. But I'm averaging approximately $4,700 gross to the truck per week. I think that I could easily average about $6,000 a week gross to the truck at Landstar. And I think that the potential is much higher than that. I think that I'm near the top of the potential at USA Truck for average. I mean, yeah, at USA Truck, you could potentially have a $10,000 a week if you just somehow magically were able to chain together a bunch of unicorn loads. Yeah, that's possible, but you couldn't average that. There's no way you could do that week after week. I think at USA Truck, the best you can average is about $5,000 a week, and it's going to be hard to do that. At Landstar, I think that it would be pretty easy to do 6,000 per week average, and you could potentially do $8,000 or $9,000 a week if you're like really good at finding good loads. And negotiating rates and stuff like that. I think you get upwards of 8,000 or 9,000 a week. I think so. We'll see. We'll find out for sure whenever I get on there. Let me switch over to the spreadsheet and show you something I was plugging in over here, just to give you an idea of like some stuff I was looking at. So I am averaging about 4,700 a week gross to the truck. I do not have a truck payment, so I have about $800 a week in fuel cost and about $200 a week in, it's actually $126 a week. It's actually less than that. I think it's like $110 a week now. It's closer to $100 a week than $200. I'm just overestimating a little bit. But this is how I come up with my $3,700 a week. I have $1,000 a week in expenses, and I make approximately $3,700. So I don't work 39 weeks out of the year. I typically do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, so that's 26 weeks per year. So if I did what I'm doing right now, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, making $4,700 gross to the truck per week, I'm going to make about $91,000 a year. That's not amazing, but for taking that much time off, it's decent. Now, if I got on with Landstar and I'm able to jump that up to $6,000 per week gross to the truck, that jumps from $90,000 a year to $125,000 a year, doing 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. If I went ahead and bought a brand new truck and I had a $600 a week truck payment, then that drops me back down to $93,000 a year. If I'm making the $6,000 a month, or $6,000 gross per week. And let's say that I'm able to get up to so this is one of the loads that they advertise on Dedicated, and I'm not too sure how easy it is to get these loads. And I'm not sure if these are solo or team loads. I think they might actually be team loads. If they're solo loads, then they're really good loads. They're good dedicated accounts. If they're team, they're absolute garbage. They are just really ridiculously cheap bullshit that nobody should pull. So, yeah, if it's solo stuff then that's paying this much, then it's a solid load. It's a really good load. But if it's team, it's absolute garbage. So we're going to go off the premise that this is a solo load. This is a $50,000 load. I've seen several of these on Landstar's load board. It's $50,000 for a month of a dedicated run. And once you take out your 65%, I think you actually make 70% instead of 65% on most of these dedicated runs because you're using somebody else's trailer instead of Landstar's trailer, so they're not taking out the 5% for using their trailer. But we're just going off 65%. So 65% of 50 grand is 32,500. If you divide that by 4, then it comes out to 8,125. You're making $8,125 per week. So let's do $8,125 gross per week. If I were doing those loads 6 months out of the year, working 6 months on, 6 months off on those dedicated runs, I would be making almost $150,000 a year, working half a year. Obviously, if I worked the full year, it'd be $300,000. But what is a more realistic amount of time that people work? I take a lot of time off. What a normal owner-operator does is approximately 3 weeks on, 1 week off. And that is working 39 weeks a year, 3/4 of the year. So somebody doing that 9 months on, 3 months off would make $244,000 a year with $1,600 a week in expenses. That's fuel, truck payment, insurance, equipment rental, everything. That's pretty damn good. Those are the type of options that are available at Landstar that are not available at USA Truck. I think that I'm toward the ceiling of what you can make at USA Truck. I think $4,700 a week is about as much as you can expect to make at USA Truck. I think that's a really high weekly average for USA Truck. So if I had a $600 a week truck payment and I was working the normal 3 weeks on, 1 week off at USA Truck, I would be making about $110,000 per year. That's not very amazing for an owner-operator. That's the reason I'm looking forward to getting away from USA Truck and getting on with Landstar, is because my earning potential at Landstar is much higher than USA Truck. Way higher than USA Truck. So USA Truck has a fairly low ceiling on how much you can make because the rates on their load board just they're not very good. Yeah, occasionally you can get really good loads or unicorn loads, but you can't string them together. You can't just run, unicorn after unicorn after unicorn. There's not enough of them. There's not even enough good loads or really good loads. You're usually doing like really good load and then $2 a mile load and then, crap load and then deadhead for a day or two to find a load. I mean, it's just, USA Truck's load board is terrible. And you'll see stuff like, let's go back over to the browser. You'll see stuff like, where's it at? Oh, it's gone. There was an Ohio load. It was going somewhere just west of Columbus, Ohio. It was listed like 2 days ago for $3,400, and then it was listed earlier today for $1,900. Like, a lane does not change that much in price. It was the exact same load. The price of a load doesn't change by 50% overnight. That's just absolutely crazy. So, yeah, anyway, I need to go take a shower, and I need to sit here and think. After I finish this video, I'm just going to sit here for like 15 or 20 minutes and think if there's anything else I need to do at the house before I leave. So, and I might make a video once I leave the house. Who knows? Once I hit the road, I'll start making videos like crazy again. But, and I plan on increasing the video quality on my phone, on the videos that I do on my phone. I've got to find something where I got to keep the file size low. And right now, I basically got the video settings as low as they'll possibly go. I think I'm going to bump them up a little bit and see what the file sizes get to. But you can't really see anything on the video right now because I have it turned down so low. But anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.